Hi guys, it's Trish, and tonight I'm going to take you through my night shift routine as best as I can to show you what we kind of do in the ICU. For those of you who don't know, I'm a surgical ICU nurse. We take care of critically unstable patients who most of the time require ventilators or continuous dialysis, and my specialty is surgical ICU, so we deal with patients who are either going to travel to surgery or coming back from surgery. So come on, let's go. I'll take you with me.
6:40 friends, let's get into it. I come to work about 20 minutes early to get myself into the right mindset and just prepare for whether I have one patient or two patients. Normally, if the acuity is high, we get one patient, oftentimes on a ventilator and on continuous dialysis. If they're a little bit more stable and ready to be transferred out, then we'll get two patients. I walk outside to go huddle with the other nurses, and that's where we talk about the status of the unit as a whole, who are the sickest patients, and what new policies we have. When huddle's done, I walk to my alcove and get bedside report with the day nurse, who will tell me why my patient's in the ICU, why they're still requiring ICU care, and what the plan is going to be. Since I'm already in the room, I check out my lines. We change the tubing out every few days, as well as make sure that I just have everything in the room that I'd possibly need for my shift. The cool thing about the ICU is we have these ICU cards, which have most of our supplies, and we can store any extra supplies in the bottom drawer that are patient specific. But things such as lab tubes and syringes that are stored in the room. Usually after I have checked out my room and become familiar with it, then I'll step outside, log into the chart, write down a to-do list, and contact anyone that I need to coordinate a certain type of travel with. So for example, if my patient is going to CT scan, then I will coordinate with the radiology tech, and then I will also ask them if they can put in for transport, someone to help me push my patient downstairs, as well as call the RT so they can come down with me, and call the dialysis nurse to unhook my patient from dialysis. Once all that's done, I go to the med room to pull medications out of the Pyxis. The cool thing about the Pyxis is that you can type in your patient and the time will pop up with whatever medications they may have. It just gives you a little bit of extra safety net so that you can check that it's the right dose, right medication, right patient, right time. Then I'll walk to the clean utility room where I go ahead and get supplies that I need for the night. The clean utility room is where we stock any supplies that we may need that are not already in our rooms. With everything in hand, I'll walk back into my patient room, start scanning my medications and completing an assessment on my patient. I'll check things like if what the day nurse said still correlates with my own assessment findings, or if there's something that I need orders for. Once my patient is squared away, I can chart and then head off to dinner. And if I have one patient, then I will be covered by another nurse who also has one patient. And if I have two patients, then I will be covered by a nurse out of ratio or our charge nurse. When I come back to my patient, it's usually time for bath, so I'll have the CNA help me, and we'll grab linens as well as chlorhexidine wipes. Those are bath wipes that help prevent infection. They look a little bit different from the normal bath. By the time I'm all done with this and everything's situated and my patient's asleep, I can go around and ask other nurses if they need any help with their patients, and if not, then I just continue to monitor. Sometimes there are things that happen where the patient's a little bit more unstable and I'm walking into the room a little bit more, but if not, the next big assessment that I have is at 12, and that is when I will do my midnight labs. My midnight labs will contain everything from electrolyte count to complete blood count, coagulation factors for my specific unit. I'll also at this time do another assessment as well as give any other medications that might need to be given. The lab results will come back in about an hour, but the cool thing that we have on our unit is called a HemeIQ, and it can tell us the hemoglobin levels of a patient within 30 seconds or so. All right, everyone.
everybody. So it's time for my long break finally. I got all my stuff done at midnight and just made sure that my patient was doing okay. And now the doctor's coming to do their rounds, so my labs should be back. I told the nurse who's covering me what's due for this time period that I'm gonna be gone, and I'm just excited to sleep. Once I come back, I just make sure that everything's in order, and then usually at 4 a.m. that's when I start to make sure that everything's ready for the day team. I'll finish my morning tasks, make sure my patient's clean one more time, make sure that all the bags are replenished for the nurse that's coming onto the shift, and just make sure that my room's really clean and that everything's good to go so that the nurse that's oncoming has a clean slate and has everything that they need.
After the hour break, I usually grab a cup of coffee, get hydrated since I'm still a little groggy, and again check my to-do list to see what else is missing and what else I have to get done. I do an assessment at 4 a.m. on my patient. I make sure that my charting's good to go. I will actually write a report sheet for the day nurse so that they have a reference guide to go off of. I give report and then I'm out the door. I will grab my lunch pail, head to my car, change out my shoes, and then usually go to the gym.
All right, guys, I just got done with my shift and I am going to rush now. It's currently about 7:25 and now I'm gonna rush to try and make it to my 8 a.m. gym class. I do have to come back to work, so knocking things out early works better for me because I feel like, I don't know, I sleep for longer when I do this. So I hope you guys learned a lot of things from this, and I hope that it kind of gave you a little bit of insight. If you have more questions, please feel free to ask me or let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions about what it's like to work in the ICU. Well, thanks for joining me on my journey, and I'm gonna try to get to the gym. All right, thanks for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe if you liked it. All right, bye friends.